State is a program built for moments like this.
Well, consistency of excellence is the calling card of this proud Tennessee program. Having reached the Sweet 16 34 times, but this Oregon State program is searching for their third Sweet 16 in a row, and they have all the components to pull the upset.
Well, and the components are, they are the best three-point percentage team in the country, all around all Pac-12 center, Marie Gulich.
Well, the potent four-out, one-in offense. Oregon State knocked down 10 triples in the first round. Marie Gulich, the senior sensation, went off for 29 points.
And she will face off against fifth-year senior Mercedes Russell in the circle and all day long. And we're ready to go here in Knoxville. Tennessee with the first possession of the game.
Right away, you see Oregon State and their patented position defense. Big shot by Jamie Nard.
Jamie Nard getting things going. She, in the NCAA, averages almost 10 points per game over her career. Let's take a look at the Capital One starting five for Oregon State. Gulich in the middle, surrounded by those four shooters. Pivick, the point guard. Coruscant, McWilliams, who went to the same high school as Westbrook for Tennessee, and Tudor, who had a terrific first-round game. That one gets away from Gulich. It'll be Tennessee basketball.
Both teams, Brenda, opened up in their man-to-man defense. Tennessee is a little bit more aggressive in overplay, where Oregon State is more positional man.
Rennia Davis had that 18-point, 11-rebound effort in the first round against Liberty. Westbrook, we mentioned, high school teammates with McWilliams for Oregon State. There are actually three players for Tennessee from the state of Oregon playing against this squad out of Corvallis. The miss, and Pivick going to push ahead. Pivick all the way to the rim, takes some contact and scores.
Pivick was so good in the first round game against Western Kentucky at taking the ball coast to coast, a physical driver out of that point guard position.
Davis on the pull-up. And Russell right there, blocked by Gulich, who is the co-defensive player of the year in the Pac-12. That's going to be such a great matchup between she and Mercedes Russell all day long.
Well, you've got 6'6" in Russell against 6'5" in Gulich.
And an errant pass for Oregon State. Both these teams, Carol, play great defense, but they do it in very different ways.
Well, they do. Tennessee's going to extend their pressure. They run a lot of zone traps, zone three-quarter court press. You're not going to see much, if any, pressing out of Oregon State. If so, it'll be situational.
Russell, the mid-range, off. Here comes Pivick. Pivick, the best rebounding guard in the Pac-12, and she's the point guard for Oregon State.
Well, she's a great story. She hadn't played point guard since 7th grade, but she has done what was needed of her, and she's run the point position very well.
And Russell made it tough on Gulich, and this Lady Vol partisan crowd cheering her on because Gulich had 29 points in that opening round game. Evina Westbrook with the jumper out of Salem, Oregon. Pivick driving into the paint, looking for somebody. Finds Tudor, who was red hot in the first half in the first round, but off the mark on her first shot today. Westbrook. Davis behind the arc. And one and done.
It's good ball movement by Tennessee and a good open look. Davis not able to stick it.
4-2 lead early here in Knoxville. Tudor, 7 seconds on the shot clock, almost stolen away, and it is. Mimi Jackson, a great defender for Tennessee, finishes on the other end.
And Mimi Jackson playing her role. She is the best three-point shooter, but she's also the stickiest man defender for Tennessee.
And forcing the turnovers. Tudor blocked by Russell, but Gulich there. McWilliams for three, short. Oregon State has never beaten Tennessee. They've played each other twice in the last 4 years. Maria Gulick, freshman year, Oregon State came in here and lost on the home court. Both were ranked in the top 10 at the time. And then 2 years ago, as Pivot makes the three, Tennessee went out and won 53-50 in Corvallis for the win. That was the year Oregon State advanced on to make it to the Final Four.
It's a nice response by Oregon State on the offensive end, knocking down a big three, which is such a big part of their offensive arsenal.
Number one three-point percentage team in the nation is Oregon State at 40.6%. Russell going to work over the top of Gulick.
Russell being very deliberate, very patient in her post move.
Remember, Mercedes Russell out of Springfield, Oregon. She was the number one recruit in the nation out of Oregon. Chose to come here to Tennessee. It was before Oregon State had established themselves nationally. And expect her to be fired up in this game today. Russell is going to be a blocking foul against Gulick. Gulick rolled the dice on that one. A good start for Tennessee on their home court. Mercedes Russell scoring, defending, and then she picks up the foul on Gulick. They're up 8-5.
Terrific jobs. I mean, just look at this resume. This would be a career for most people, and they'd be very happy that these two have really been able to get it done. They've done it through defense, and it'll be interesting to see the chess match that takes place between these two as this game progresses.
Nard comes around the screen, little pick and roll with Russell, looking for somewhere to go. Goes up with the left hand over Gulick.
That was a big-time move. Patient pivot foot. Very deliberate move by Mercedes Russell over a outstanding post defender in Marie Gulick.
4 points already for Russell. 4 different players have scored in the early going for Tennessee.
Tennessee bringing pressure after made baskets.
Already down to 9 on the shot clock. Pick and roll picked off by Russell. 3rd turnover for the Beavers.
Mercedes Russell is as locked in as I have seen her in a long time.
Jamie Nard, long. Yeah, she looks tough here in the early going.
Both ends of the floor. She's really given very little help on the defensive end. She is wherever Gulick is, so is Mercedes Russell.
Davis blocks out Pivot and ignites the break. Here comes Westbrook. Big step past the defender, right to the hoop.
We've seen both point guards, Westbrook for Tennessee, Pivot for Oregon State, take the ball coast to coast.
Tudor, back iron. Oregon State now 1 of 5 in the early going from beyond the arc.
And these missed three-pointers are turning into fast break opportunities for Tennessee.
And a foul under the basket on McWilliams. It'll result in 2 free throws for Tennessee.
And watch Mercedes Russell, so patient. Great job of using that pivot foot to open up a little space to finish her shot.
Now here's a real storyline today in that Oregon State, one of the best teams in the country at fewest fouls, 3rd in the NCAA. However, Tennessee, one of the best teams at drawing fouls and getting to the free throw line. So how will that play out today?
Well, free throw attempts is a big part of Tennessee's offense. They have to get to the foul line. It also reflects their aggression. When they are aggressive, rebounding the ball, running the ball to the other end in their fast break offense, that will put you to the free throw line.
Pivot, nobody stepped over to help out. She drove straight to the basket. She has all 7 points for Oregon State.
And that's the second time Pivot has gone straight line drive to the basket.
Block by Gulick. Tennessee will have 20 on the shot clock to inbound on the baseline.
Jamie Nard and Tennessee, they need to move the ball from side to side, then look for their drives to the basket.
Westbrook steps back, toe on the line, rims in and out, a battle for the loose ball, and it's called out of bounds. It will be Oregon State basketball.
Great effort by both programs, both teams trying to secure that loose ball rebound.
So we talked about the fact Oregon State best three-point percentage shooting team in the nation as they struggle against the Tennessee defense. Jackson right at the rim, but pivot there for the rebound.
But Jackson went right to the rim, but she was also going right at Marie Gulich. Not a great idea.
And travel for Oregon State, already their 5th turnover. And that was a problem for Oregon State earlier in the year when they had a loss early in Pac-12 play at USC and at UCLA. They had a lot of turnovers. They were converted into points, but they got that fixed later on in Pac-12 play. But they're having some struggles here early against Tennessee.
By the time they faced UCLA for the 2nd time, they were back in Corvallis. They felt much better about their press offense. But early in this game, it looks like it's rearing this ugly head again because Tennessee has been very effective.
Jamie Nard from long range, and Scott Rueck going to have to call a timeout. Tennessee has already built up a 10-point lead here in the first quarter. Jamie Nard has 5. Mercedes Russell has 4, along with Westbrook. And it's Jamie Nard who has lit things up here in the early going for Tennessee. 2:12 to go in the first quarter. Tennessee shooting 7 of 18. They already have 18 shot attempts. Oregon State only with 11 because of the 5 turnovers for Oregon State, none for Tennessee here early.
Yeah, I mean, Tennessee couldn't have scripted a better open to this ball game. They've come out with great focus, great intensity. They've been able to execute in the half court. They've been able to force turnovers with their full court pressure.
So Scott Rueck calls a timeout. What does Oregon State need to do here? Pivick is 3 for 5. The rest of the team 0 for 6 so far.
But they've really just got to settle down, and it starts with their press offense.
Get it out of the trap over to Aaliyah Goodman, who's in the game. Tennessee's defense scrambling. Driving in. Coruscant, the first basket of the game by someone other than Michaela Pivick.
That was a nice job. That was a good defense by Tennessee, but better offense by Oregon State.
And they score out of the timeout, so that's got to give a little bit of calm to the Beavers here on the road. Minute and a half to go in the first quarter. Russell working on Gulich. Gulich, remember, has that 1 foul, and she had the blocking foul against Russell earlier. Hayes high off the backboard. Oregon State with a chance to put together back-to-back possessions with scores. Pivick picks up her dribble, nowhere to go. Good double team by Tennessee. With the speed out front, Hayes is fouled by Aaliyah Goodman.
This game is getting physical. Both teams really pursuing the basketball. Tennessee is swarming, using their length and aggression to really wreak havoc right now on Oregon State's offense.
Hayes misses the first. We'll catch a second-round NIT triple-header tomorrow at 7 on ESPNU and the ESPN app, featuring Stanford at Oklahoma State, LSU at Utah, and Washington at St. Mary's in men's basketball. And watch NCAA.com, the home for all 90 NCAA championships.
Oregon State, nice job that time getting the ball to the middle of the floor. You always want to attack zone pressure from the middle.
Goodman pulls up for 3. 1 for 6 now for the most proficient three-point shooting team in the country. Hayes picks up her dribble. Boy, how'd she get that one through? Russell, underside of the backcourt, and Oregon State comes away with it.
Well, not a lot of spacing that time for Tennessee offensively. And Hayes, being the young freshman point guard that she is, maybe should have rethought taking the ball that deep into Oregon State's defense.
About a second and a half difference between the game clock and the shot clock. Gulich, they finally get her a look, and she's too strong. And maybe too early because Tennessee has a shot at it. Nard draws contact. Is that going to be on Gulich? Yes. The second foul on Marie Gulich with 1.4 seconds to go in the first quarter.
And what a big turn of events at the end of this first quarter. Great job by Jamie Nard to stay aggressive, leans into Gulich, and gets the whistle to go her way.
Jamie Nard, another of the Tennessee players that's a native of Oregon. She's out of Portland, Oregon. All SEC first team. She's off the mark on that one. Marie Gulich has not fouled out all season long, but she's already picked up 2 fouls here in the first quarter. Nard makes the second. 1.4 seconds to go in the quarter. And it's off, and off the backboard. Tennessee tying their largest lead of the first quarter with a 19-9 lead. Welcome to Knoxville, Tennessee, where the Lady Vols up 10 on Oregon State here in the early going. Oregon State shooting just 4 of 14 from the field, but a big bucket there by Katie McWilliams as their big star, Marie Gulich, already with 2 fouls, Oregon State. She's still in the game, hasn't fouled all year long, and Oregon State going to a 2-3 zone to protect her.
Scott Rueck, he knows his senior player. Marie Gulich is the only senior on this team. She has been 4 years with Scott Rueck. He knows what she's capable of, how important she is.
Shot clock winding down. Hayes with a little teardrop over the front of the rim with 3 seconds on the shot clock.
Well, Hayes is small in stature, but boy, she's big in heart. She will go into the teeth of a defense without a blink.
Already 6 Tennessee players have scored. A very balanced attack as they've used their defense to create some offense here in the early going. Tennessee defense bothering Oregon State here early. Another miss. Oregon State just 1 of 7 from three-point range. Hayes. And Aaliyah Goodman going to push ahead. Strong drive into the lane. Tudor draws a foul on Jamie Nard, and she'll go to the free throw line.
That's the first foul for Tennessee, so they've done an exceptional job of staying out of foul situations. Jamie Nard is not a player that Tennessee wants to see leave the floor.
She came out and hit the first basket of the game, also hit a three-pointer, so Jamie Nard already with 6 points in the game. Commits the foul. Kat Tudor, the 6-foot sophomore, who was terrific in the first-round game against Western Kentucky. She was 4 of 8 from three-point range in the first half and ended up finishing with 19 points in that win over the Lady Toppers.
Tennessee's going to need to reverse the basketball, get movement, look for your open gaps when the ball passes around for the second time.
High-low to Russell, right at Gulich. Back irons it. The wrestle for the ball goes to Davis.
And Renata Davis has been beastly on the boards. That's her 6th rebound.
Russell tied up, goes over Gulich, challenging Gulich with the 2 fouls inside, but can't get either shot to go on that possession. McWilliams uses a big screen by Gulich. Pick and roll to score. First basket of the game for Marie Gulich.
And that was old school classic pick and roll. And who better than Marie Gulich to finish on the other end? Terrific job by Oregon State.
And what a screen she delivered, too. That was a teeth-rattling screen.
Well, that's what I meant, old school.
Exactly. And Tennessee has gone cold against this 2-3 zone. They led by as many as 10. An opportunity for Oregon State to cut in even more.
Tennessee's a team that when they see zone, they have a tendency to shoot from the outside. And what a run Oregon State is on. Terrific job of handling pressure. Coach Holly Warlick's going to have to burn a timeout.
And she does just that. Oregon State has drawn within 4 with a little old-fashioned hard screen on the pick and roll. Gulich, big screen, rolls and scores at the rim. Opportunity yesterday as Scott Rueck took his team over the Hall of Fame.
Well, Scott Rueck loves the sport that he's in, but he also admires Tennessee, the history of Pat Summitt's legacy, anything having to do with women's basketball. He is a very respectful, and he's a teacher. You know, he wants his players to know what he knows.
Yeah, I loved the story of the last time they came here to Knoxville was in 2014, December, and Pat Summitt was in the front row, and Scott Rueck went over to greet her and shake her hand, and it's such a strong memory for him in this building.
And not the type offense you want to come out of a timeout with, a turnover for Tennessee.
And a foul going to be called on Anastasia Hayes.
And that's, sorry, Brenda, that's what happens sometimes to freshmen. They'll make a mistake on one end, and then they turn around and make a second one on the defensive side.
So a couple of subs coming in. Westbrook coming back onto the court for Tennessee. Oregon State was held to just 9 points in the first quarter. They already have 8 here in the second quarter.
Gulich is not in to start out of that timeout.
They have Grimick, Joanna Grimick, the junior from Poland, into the game, and then Tudor finally gets going from long range. That's just a second three-pointer, but timely in this run. Now a 9-0 run for Oregon State.
Well, Oregon State settled down. They've stopped Tennessee on the offensive end, which has stopped Tennessee from pressing. Tennessee has been sloppy with the basketball, and it's given Oregon State opportunities, and they've taken full advantage.
Yeah, Tennessee hasn't scored since the 8:19 mark in the first quarter. Hasn't scored a field goal.
Well, and their turnovers have been live ball, so they've not been able to set their press, which was the very thing that was keeping Oregon State off balance. But great job on the baseline out of bounds. And get the ball to the big girl, Russell.
Great seal on the offside by Russell to be available for that. And that stops the 9-0 run. Another foul going to be called out top on Anastasia Hayes. That's her second. Let's look back at that inbounds pass.
Just great execution. Nothing but a seal in. Grimick got a little bit distracted, which is what the play was hoping would happen.
Around the screen, off the mark, Aaliyah Goodman. Goodman, a 49% three-point shooter for Oregon State. Davina Westbrook. Back to Jackson up top. There's Davis at that high post position. She's surrounded. Good ball movement to set up Jackson. Jackson long though.
Jackson's going to be the best outside threat for Tennessee if they turn to the three ball.
Yeah, she shoots 35% and had a good look against the zone there. McWilliams, pick and roll to Grimick, knocked away by Jackson, and Nard just can't quite track it down as she steps on the sideline. And first time coming into the game, Sheradine Green, who had a terrific game in the first round, 15 points and 12 rebounds. Is Russell going to go to the bench while Gulich is on the bench for Oregon State? Green is number 15 for Tennessee in the game. 7 seconds on the shot clock for the Beavers. Pivic pulls up, splashes it down, a foot on the line, two-pointer.
Yeah, Tennessee's going to have to think about going over the top of the screens instead of going behind. Oregon State too good from the perimeter shooting the basketball.
Oh, looked like Davis might have gotten away with a double dribble. Westbrook finds a gap right at Grimick, and Grimick alters the shot. Here comes Pivic. Michaela Pivic pulls up. Nowhere to go with it, and she's going to reset. Pivic looking for Grimick inside. Grimick staying in the lane a while. And a foul on the shot.
Davis not disciplined that time in her defensive stance. Tudor's taking advantage of it.
Foul was called on Sheridan Green. Tudor at the line, a 78% free throw shooter. First time it's been tied since 2-2. Oregon State has never led. They were down by as many as 10, and Tudor gives them their first lead of the game. The crowd getting a little restless here in Knoxville.
Oregon State continuing in that 2-3 zone, which has bothered Tennessee.
Tennessee's only scored 4 points here in the second quarter against this zone, and then out of control, Mimi Jackson commits an offensive foul.
Tennessee just very impatient. Against a zone defense, you have to have ball movement from one side to the other, then use your high post, use your post to get the ball back to the middle of the floor. Just have got to find more patience. We forget sometimes, too, that Tennessee leans heavily on freshmen.
Yes.
And the freshmen, 2 out of 3 are decision makers, and sometimes that's difficult. Nice job by Tennessee to apply pressure.
Yeah, that's a good point, Carol, because, yes, Tennessee is 57-0 here at home in NCAA home games. But you've got a lot of freshmen on this team that have not been part of that tradition, but are a part of the new tradition. With Holly Warlick has taken her teams to 4 Sweet 16s in her first 5 seasons, and trying to advance once again today. A jump ball, possession arrow, Tennessee.
Nice job scrapping again for an offensive rebound. Tennessee scored on their last baseline out of bounds play.
And a foul away from the basketball.
It's a nice job on that, too. Jamie Nard inbounded the ball and then came in real quickly as the first option. Oregon State gives her a little nudge in the back. The official caught it.
Corsdale with her first foul. Screen on the ball for Westbrook. A little dish to Green, and then Oregon State kind of bailing out Tennessee there.
Well, they did, but that was a nice job to change the zone offense up, set some ball screens.
That's Kat Tudor's first foul. Just a second team foul here in the second quarter. Another turnover for Tennessee. Pivic, who is so strong upper body, she actually competed on the Oregon State track team last year as a javelin thrower. She was a state champion javelin thrower in high school. And Katie McWilliams trying to squeeze the ball inside to Joanna Grimick. It was knocked out of bounds, 9 seconds on the shot clock.
Mercedes Russell comes back in. Tennessee's playing both big girls together now, Green and Russell.
Russell doesn't have any fouls. And stepping on the baseline, Oregon State with another turnover.
Russell immediately impacts the Tennessee defense, creates that turnover.
Tennessee is plus 3 points when Mercedes Russell is on the floor. They were -4 with her on the bench. Under a minute to go here in the second quarter. Tennessee led by as many as 10 points. But Oregon State has come back and taken the lead. They are much more calm than they were in the early going. Still haven't been shooting well from three-point range. They're 2 of 9 from beyond the arc, where they are so good. Number 1 in the nation in three-point shooting. And a miss there will give Tennessee an opportunity here to go for a last shot.
We talk a lot about both defenses, but at the end of the day, both offenses, somebody's got to knock down shots.
Coming up, our Northwestern Mutual halftime report. Maria Taylor, Rebecca Lobo, Andy Landers will update you on DePaul A&M, Maryland, NC State, and other NCAA Women's Championship news. As we wind down to the end of the second quarter, Rennia Davis with a huge three-pointer for Tennessee to take back the lead. The freshman coming off the double-double in the first round hits a big shot there to close it for Tennessee. They lead 26-24 here in Knoxville. Let's check in now with Maria in the studio.
All right, thank you, Brenda. Time for the Northwestern Mutual halftime report. Welcome inside the studio. Maria Taylor alongside her
Second foul, but whatever made Scott Rueck switch to the 2-3, it was magic for Oregon State because Tennessee struggled mightily to find ways to score against it, and the ability to go inside, the big girls battling down inside, really almost negated each other at times because both have such a big presence.
And there was that second foul on Gulich. Oregon State went to the 2-3 zone. She got a little time out, but she's only scored 2 points on that nice pick and roll effort they had in the lane. Russell had 6 points all in the first quarter. And we'll see how that plays out as who controls the tempo, who can go on a run here, whose defense can prevail, as Oregon State going for their 3rd Sweet 16 in a row. Tennessee going for their 5th trip to the Sweet 16 in the last 6 years. As we get started here in the third quarter, errant pass, but then it gets away from Nard and Russell. The two seniors kind of gather together. That one just got away from them.
Well, I think Nard put the ball on the floor and Russell moved behind Nard to clear space, and the ball went off Russell's foot.
You see, Tennessee scored 19 in the first quarter. We're held to just 7, and that included that three-pointer at the buzzer by Rennia Davis. So just 3 of 12 in the second quarter.
Tennessee really depends on their defense to manufacture points, and Oregon State was not turning it over. Great job by Gulich, a one-on-one with Russell. Gulich, nice job finishing against the big Russell.
15 double-doubles on the year for Marie Gulich, coming off that 29-point effort in the first round. Doubles up her scoring on just the first possession of the quarter. Russell going to work, slides by some defenders. Wow, how did she get through to score that?
Well, both teams, where did they go with the first possession? To the big girls down inside. Both produce points.
Pivic trying to set things up, hounded by Jackson out top. Uses the screen, looking for Gulich, bounce passes past the defenders to score.
And that's where the Tennessee guards have got to fight harder over those screens, so Russell doesn't have to help as long.
All tied up here in Knoxville, in the Lexington region. 4th tie of the game. Nard comes around the Russell screen, takes it right at Gulich. Russell with the offensive board, surrounded by Oregon State players and still able to score.
You better be able to score with contact. This is big-time basketball, and you better bring your big-time game because there is going to be contact and physicality.
What a start to the third quarter. Both teams with such a sense of urgency, as you would expect, and Pivic, who had several straight-line drives in the first quarter, gets one here to start the third.
Well, we just talked about you better be able to score with physicality. Pivic has done that all tournament long. She's been able to absorb it and finish with it.
Nard picks up her second. We talked about how strong Pivac is. She is a javelin thrower for the Oregon State track team. And boy, you can tell that strength as she came up through the contact of Nard.
She's a very physical guard. She's got the structure and she's got the mentality.
Russell out top against the 2-3 zone. Dribbles in between two guards, may have gotten away with the travel and turns it over anyway.
That was just not a very good offensive sequence for Tennessee. Again, showing some impatience against this Oregon State defense.
McWilliams comes off the screen by Gulich. Nice little pump fake and scores.
Terrific job by Oregon State. Good execution, good movement.
And there they get points in the paint by someone other than Gulich. And Pivac with her drives. Oregon State's largest lead of the game. Davis, Tudor rips it down.
Tennessee they're continuing to try to score without moving the ball first. It's very hard to do against a zone defense.
Tudor sizes it up. And a nice block out by Davis.
Davis continues to be productive on the backboards. Her 8th rebound of the game.
Tennessee only has one player in double figures. That's Mercedes Russell with 10. Oregon State is led by Pivac with 12. And they go to Russell, who scores inside.
That was a beautiful connection between the two Tennessee seniors. Just a terrific job by Nard to draw defenders and open up Russell for an easy basket.
Williams draws right into the double team, but quickly passes ahead. Oregon State keeping the ball alive, securing the offensive board. Reverse to Pivac, and then a foul going to be called on the floor on Tennessee on Renaya Davis. The Division I Men's Basketball Championship second round continues today on CBS, TBS, TNT, and True TV. For matchups and game times, go to ncaa.com. How about that last second shot by Michigan last night on the men's side? Great action in the women's tournament as well. Mid-majors, double-digit seeds with big wins yesterday as Gulich picks up her 3rd foul in the backcourt.
I think Gulich was just at the wrong place at the wrong time. Not a lot of contact, but the official saw Russell go to the ground. Nevertheless, 3 fouls on Gulich.
Hayes pulls back to Nard, over to Davis. Russell has all 6 of the points for Tennessee in this quarter until Hayes scored that one.
Hayes has got the courage of a lion. She goes in where Gulich is, gets a little up fake, ends up scoring a basket.
Tennessee retakes the lead. Pivac pulls up. Russell with nice rebound position.
Tennessee really trying to get the tempo up, pushing the ball down off that rebound outlet. Nice job by Oregon State to make Tennessee go into a half-court offensive set.
Jackson rises up for 3, hits it.
Boy, Mimi Jackson, Tennessee's going to have Mimi Jackson knocking down a couple of three-point shots before Scott Rueck is going to call that 2-3 zone off.
That's her first three-pointer of the game. She's 1 of 4 from three-point range. That's the 3rd three-point make for Tennessee as Davis and Nard have both hit a 3. And rumbling into the lane, Oregon State, and a foul going to be called on Jackson. The officials getting together. They're going to send Oregon State to the free throw line when we come back. two go back a long way playing against each other in the SEC.
Back in the day, back when it all started.
So much fun to go back and revisit that as Oregon State comes out and hits a couple of free throws. They did allow the 2 free throws. The foul was on the shot, and Oregon State extends their defense a little bit here.
Yeah, they extended that 2-3 zone up the floor a little bit after the made free throw. Just a different look to throw at Tennessee.
Davis from the baseline.
Davis is a player that really, even though she's producing big on the board, she needs to score to feel really good about herself.
Goodman lines up for 3 off the mark. Boy, and that's so unusual. Goodman would actually lead the nation in three-point percentage if she met the minimum. She shoots 49% coming into the tournament, 47 of 96, and she was well off the mark on that one. Gulich has it ripped away by Russell. Russell keeps it alive. Can't score. Here comes Goodman in traffic to Coruscant. Tennessee led by as many as 10 in the first half. Oregon State came back. Their largest lead has been 3. And we've had a little back and forth here in the third.
Gulich has a guard on her, but...
And Oregon State has gone cold. They haven't scored in over 4 minutes, and they're 0 for 7 since the 7:20-minute mark. Tennessee couldn't capitalize, though.
No, both ends have had some decent looks, just not able to finish. Nothing's coming easy for either offense.
Swatted away. Boy, Gulich goes down on the floor for it. The 6'5 senior. 4 seconds on the shot clock. Tudor thinks about it. Gulich straight up. Gets the offensive board.
Nice effort by Gulich to keep this possession alive. And for what? A 3-point basket by your teammate.
Boy, and Holly Warlick stomped her feet, giving up that offensive rebound, allows Oregon State to close within 1.
Well, you got to remember, Gulich got on the floor to save the possession. Then she got on the backboards to save the possession again. And Matt Williams nails the 3.
She is the only senior on this team, Marie Gulich, a native of Germany. Nard can't connect, and Oregon State with a chance to retake the lead. Holly Warlick is alerting her team to what the play is, asking them to come out. Goodman left wide open for the jumper, and Gulich and Russell go down in a heap. Their arms got tangled with one another, then their legs, and both of them fell to the floor. No foul called, though.
Well, both players have been extremely aware of the other's presence. Where one is gone, the other is gone, and that meant, in this case, to the floor. And I don't think there was any really foul involved. They just got tangled up.
Gulich, 6 points on 3 of 7 from the field. Mercedes Russell has 12 points, 6 of 14. She's also got a double-double as Russell has the 12 points and 10 rebounds. Hayes off the mark and chasing it down. A new possession for Tennessee. The kick out to Jackson. Out of control, stumbling with the basketball is Green, and she turns it over. Back to that double-double for Mercedes Russell. It's the 46th of her career. She is now in second place all-time in double-doubles, behind only Shamiqua Holstaff. So, pretty great accomplishment for Mercedes Russell. Just broke a tie with Candace Parker. So just, you know, when you're in the same era as Candace Parker and Shamiqua Holstaff in Tennessee history, that's pretty special.
That's definitely special. That's good company.
5 seconds on the shot clock. Bounce pass to Gulich, and she's fouled by the guard. They're bounce passing it through a lot of guard play. Would you want her to throw it up there higher for her?
Well, I mean, the bigger issue is why Gulich is open. She's open because the Tennessee guards are getting hung on the Oregon State screens. forcing a switch, which now puts Gulich rolling on a much smaller Tennessee defender. Great job by Oregon State to continue to bring Mercedes Russell into the pick and rolls.
Yeah.
And until the Tennessee guards can figure out how to get through, over, around, Mercedes Russell is going to be in a tough spot.
So Hayes picked up her third, rotating over defensively, and Gulich makes both free throws. So Gulich now with 8 points. That's her first trip to the free throw line. She's going to take a break here as we are winding down our time in the third quarter.
Now Smart get Gulich out. She's got 3 fouls. Get her to that fourth quarter.
Russell's got a defender in front and behind, and then the long arms of Kat Tudor forces a turnover.
And that's where the youth sometimes for Tennessee in that guard position, you know, poor spacing and trying to throw over a much taller Oregon State defender.
6 seconds in the quarter and a foul on Davis. And that's going to be the 5th team foul of the quarter, so that will send Oregon State to the free throw line. Men's ice hockey skates toward the Frozen Four in St. Paul. Regional semifinals begin Friday at 3 Eastern on ESPN2 and the app. And you can visit NCAA.com, the home for all 90 NCAA championships. McWilliams hits the free throw. Remember, you can see all the women's games on the ESPN app anytime throughout the tournament. 2 free throws made, 2 seconds left in the quarter. Hayes hoisted up and can't get the shot. The largest lead of the game for the Oregon State Beavers as we head to the fourth quarter in Knoxville.
The half. Back to you, Brenda.
Thank you, Maria. Well, as we look at what's at stake here in Knoxville, the fact that Oregon State going for their third Sweet 16 in a row and trying to pick up their first win against Tennessee in history, and that 57-game win streak on the line here at home in NCAA tournament games for Tennessee. They have never lost here in an NCAA game.
Russell wants the ball. Nobody's looking at her.
Jackson for 3. Oregon State went on a 9-0 run to end the third quarter. Remember, they were down 39-35, and they closed to take this 5-point lead, their largest of the game. Gulich went down on the floor as the teams were coming up the floor. No foul called. 6 seconds on the shot clock for the Beavers. Pivot, who's had a terrific game, kicks out. Tudor has time off the backboard, and there's Davis with her 9th rebound.
Last trip down for Tennessee on offense. Russell really posting, wanting the ball. None of the Tennessee guards were able to give it to her. You got to reward the big girl. That's a big battle down inside between Russell and Gulich.
There she is.
You'd rather give it to her from the top, but give it to her any way you can get it to her.
Passes out of the double team, and it's off Tennessee. Now they got the ball to Russell, but immediately that double team.
Well, if you pass the ball in from the side to the block, you're going to allow for a double team. You bring it in from the top, it's a one-on-one situation.
Oregon State looking to build on its biggest lead.
Good ball movement. Oregon State very patient. Good spacing.
Gulich comes up to set the screen. Rolls to the basket. Pivot. And Gulich with an offensive rebound.
And that's because Tennessee had to switch off, and it put Westbrook on Gulich for a box out. And that's just not going to happen.
Tudor from the baseline. And another rebound for Oregon State.
Well, what resiliency.
Pivot for 3. Give them too many chances, they're going to knock it down.
That's just, it all started with the switch, that man-to-man switch, because of the Execution by Oregon State on the pick and roll kept Tennessee from having a big on big. Just tremendous extra effort and hustle by Oregon State.
They are going to look back. They called it a three-pointer, but they're going to look back at the next break if the foot was on the line, so we'll keep an eye on that. Oregon State with a 7-point lead right now with it called a three-pointer. Every point precious at this point in the game. Russell was pushed from behind, still got it up, and she'll go to the free throw line. Now, Carol, this is a part of the game we talked about early, and Tennessee got to the line 6 times in the first quarter. This is their first time to the free throw line since the first quarter.
And that's amazing. That's an amazing stat in this game because so much of Tennessee's offensive production comes from the free throw line.
So second foul on Coruscant. Russell misses the free throw.
And when you get there, especially in the fourth quarter, you've got to knock them down.
She gets the second. 6-point lead for Oregon State. McWilliams and a hand check call on her former high school teammate, Evina Westbrook. Put a hand on the hip. Those two both went to South Salem High School, where McWilliams' father was the coach. They won a state championship together. Westbrook gets called for the hand check. Nowhere to go. Gulich picks up her dribble, looking for somebody, and a timeout called by Scott Rueck. Holly Warlick stamps on the floor, wants a travel or a 5-second count or something for the defense, but Oregon State able to get this about earlier. Review that. We'll get word on boy, that is awfully close. So William Smith came over to let us know that they had called it a 2-pointer originally, so it is deemed as a 3-pointer as she was barely behind the line. So it is now a 47-40 lead for the Beavers. The last Tennessee basket came with 3:59 to go, and they are 0 for 7 since. 3:59 to go in the third quarter, and Tennessee's 0 for 7 since. Biggest lead of the game for Oregon State was an 8-point lead. They've got 7 on the shot clock. Gulich with a beautiful turnaround.
And those two bigs were battling down inside. Great step back, create space, knock down the shot by Marie Gulich.
Biggest lead and maybe the biggest shot of the game. Gulich now in double figures. What an athletic move over Russell.
Holly Warlick's put Dunbar in, who's a very good three-point shooter, hoping to loosen up.
Westbrook offensive rebound, can't get it to go off the Nard miss. And that 57-0 record for Tennessee on their home court in NCAA tournament games is in jeopardy.
You got to think with the way that Oregon State defends, it's going to be hard to score coming down the stretch. And we're talking about a Tennessee team that scored 100 points 2 nights ago.
Here's that shot again by Gulich.
Well, it's just a terrific battle going down inside. Nice job of creating space with the step back.
That's why the WNBA coaches are very interested in her.
Well, there are a lot of reasons. That's one of them for sure. Her ability to score, her physicality, her ability to rebound and screen.
Ooh, going down in a heap is Gulich. They still got time on the shot clock, though. 15 seconds. Gulich sizing up Russell. Takes it right at her. And Russell going to be called for the blocking foul. Lady Vol fans, none too happy. Neither is Holly Warlick.
Well, these two have been going at it all day in different ways. There was some contact. I think Gulic might have sold that one, but it works.
That's just the first foul of the game on Russell. As much as those two have been battling together, Gulic has 3, remember. And Pivac going to pull things out, being hounded by Westbrook. And an offensive foul going to be called on Gulic, and that's her 4th. And Mercedes Russell knows it.
Well, she knows it, but now Tennessee has to do something about it. Marie Gulic is a very good screener. She sets 2 different screens in this possession.
That was the second one they called, so they take it right at her inside. Russell goes up, scores, she's fouled. Who are they going to call it on? They call it on Pivac. So immediately, Russell held up the 4 fingers. She knew that Gulic had the 4 fouls. They take it right in at her. Just like you said, she scores and draws the foul. And Russell with an opportunity for the big 3-point play here. Can't get it to go. Gulic with a rebound.
Boy, the Lady Vols depend on that free throw line. They haven't been there near as much today as they are used to going, and they're not hitting them when they get there.
Yeah, Russell now has missed 2 of her last 3, but she steps in. Look at her driving in traffic, and it's stolen away.
Great recovery by Oregon State to get back on defense and stop what could have been a momentum-building play for Tennessee.
Oregon State continues with that pick and roll. Better defended that time by Tennessee. McWilliams looking for somewhere to go. Pivac going to get the screen. Pivac kicks out. The 3-pointer by Coruscant. Big shot for Oregon State.
That is huge, and that's a part of that 4-out, 1-in offense. 3-point shooter surrounding Marie Gulic on the inside, and they are going to work.
And Pivac with another nice assist. She has had a terrific game for Oregon State. Davis too long. Hayes with the offensive board. Down 10. This is the largest deficit of the game for Tennessee. Russell lowers her shoulder. No foul called, and the missed shot.
Nice job again by Oregon State on the defensive end, just staying solid, stingy, nothing easy for Tennessee.
Oregon State with the opportunity to end the 57-game home win streak of Tennessee in NCAA games. Gulic raises up, gets it.
Boy, you can sense it right now. Oregon State smells blood in the water. They are really putting their foot down on Tennessee.
And Holly Warlick has to call a timeout. Oregon State has never beaten Tennessee, and the stakes couldn't be higher. A trip to the Sweet 16 on the line. Eastern on ESPN, and also a doubleheader on ESPN2. And remember that all games are streaming live on the ESPN app. Boy, some tense fans here in Knoxville as they've never seen Tennessee lose a home game in the NCAA tournament. It's never happened. And Oregon State with the lead, and you can see why. Tennessee had 19 points in the first quarter, but they've only scored 23 since then, Carol.
Well, you have to credit Oregon State. Their defense switching to the 2-3 zone in the second quarter has really been the MO for Oregon State. Pivac continues to straight line drive to the basket. She has really been aggressive.
She's got 15 points on the day as Westbrook picks up her 3rd foul. Michaela Pivac has 15 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. Now, she's actually turned the ball over 8 times, but Tennessee's only scored 6 points off the 10 turnovers for Oregon State today.
Well, Tennessee just has not been able. They don't. Offensive execution is not Tennessee's MO. It's manufacturing points.
Davis from the corner. Jackson out to Hayes. trying to find a way to manufacture points and going up and around. Gulick somehow gets that one to go in.
And that was a hope and a prayer, but the prayer was answered. Hayes, nice job getting in there and finding a way to finish.
Well, they attack Gulick, who has the 4 fouls, but no foul called. Williams passes it through and a turnover forced.
Well, if Tennessee scores, they can get in their pressure. It has bothered Oregon State.
But they haven't scored very much. That's been part of the problem. Now they get the score. Back-to-back baskets and a 5-0 run for Tennessee to draw them within 8.
And the energy level is up, not only on the court, but in the building. So we'll see again how Oregon State handles the heat.
A tough shot there. How about that shot by Kat Tudor?
And it's as if Oregon State, they learn from their mistakes so quickly.
Up from the top of the key, Nard off the mark. Hayes lines it up, and Nard chases down the rebound. Under 2 minutes to go in the game. Nard trying to make something happen. Rims in and out. She gets her own rebound, and a foul on the floor.
Jamie Nard just struggling to put the ball in the basket, but she has remained active, especially here in the 4th quarter, trying to save possessions for Tennessee.
Just the 4th team foul, so Tennessee takes it out. Jackson misses the shot, though. Yeah, Nard, 3 of 12 today from the field for 9 points for Tennessee. The pass, the easy basket by Kat Tudor.
Tennessee being too aggressive on the front of their press, not aggressive getting back. Nice attack by Oregon State out of their press offense.
Jackson hits it, and a timeout from Holly Warlick. Draws it back within single digits, but just a 9-point lead now for Oregon State with 1:28 to go. Well, let's take a look at today's Capital One rewarding performance, and it was a slow start, and she played with foul trouble all day, but Maria Gulick has made the impact.
Well, Marie Gulick is an impact player. Every time she steps on the floor, we should expect nothing less. And today, when it matters most, she was really good, not just statistically, even though she does have a double-double, but also how she has impacted play defensively, which we know she's a co-Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year. But she's done it in this game. She's helped for her teammates. She's just been exceptional, and her senior leadership is immeasurable.
And really everybody for Oregon State has played so well against the pressure defense of Tennessee. They've executed well on offense. That one gets away from Gulick, and then a foul on Tennessee as they scramble to try to make something happen here. And they commit the foul that will send Oregon State to the free throw line.
And Oregon State has been exceptional at the free throw line, 12 of 13.
Almost a 70% free throw shooter, Corusdale, for Oregon State. That's her first free throw attempt of the day, and Holly Warlick can only look on. An 11-point deficit to overcome here on their home court. Tennessee lost in the second round last year on the road at Louisville. They've never lost in the second round in the history of their program. A foul called on Anastasia Hayes away from the ball. And Oregon State starting to feel it.
It's just you expect a scrum on weak side, both players going for the ball. A hard call to make, but nevertheless it's made.
So Hayes picks up her 4th foul.
And Oregon State, you're not in a position if you're Tennessee to expect Oregon State to go to the foul line and miss, because they have been so good. So your hands are a little bit tied.
You can see the frustration from the fans here in Knoxville.
Well, it's just staggering to think 57-0 in NCAA games on campus here at Tennessee. It's just
it's remarkable to think about the tradition of this program, this consistency of excellence for so many years. And this young team continues to battle and fight, but it's a big hill to climb for Tennessee here in the last minute and 1 second.
Well, Tennessee has the ability to make this comeback only because they're so fast, they're long, they're geared to press. Now they're going to need to steal the ball and not foul because Oregon State's knocking down their free throws. But if they can gamble and risk getting in the passing lanes,
and they have to make their free throws when they get them. They got the one from Hayes there. They're 2 for 4 here in the fourth quarter. Oregon State gets it into Gulich. Pivic looking ahead. Gets it over in time. The double team. Corusdale throws it out of bounds. Off the leg of Tennessee, they're saying. Well, the officials have the ability to go, and you can. Well, it looks like it's off the fingertips of Russell.
Well, they call the leg. I thought, we're sitting right in front of it. I thought I saw the pass just go out of bounds. But, you know, Russell's long, so it definitely could have gone off her fingertips. I did not see it go off her leg.
Well, Carol, we talked about how Tennessee wanted to come out and turn Oregon State over, and they did it in the first quarter. 6 turnovers in the first quarter for Oregon State. But since then, Beavers have only turned it over 5 times the rest of the game.
Well, Oregon State's a team, they learn from their mistakes so quickly. They made adjustments. Their spacing became better. They tried to pass through instead of dribble through, and it pretty much negated Tennessee's ability to press and turn them over.
So they're going to the monitor to see who the ball was off. And you can see Corusdale was reaching through, and it did not touch Mercedes Russell. So the officials getting together, and originally it was called Oregon State basketball. They go back, and they determined that it was not touched by Tennessee. So Tennessee with the ball down 9 with 48.6 to go.
You would expect to see quick offense. You want to be rushed, not rushed, but quick.
Davis short, and who else but the best rebounding guard in the Pac-12 Conference, Michaela Pivic, with another big rebound. She's got 6 today.
Pivic's been so good in so many ways. Gulich has been that anchor on the inside that really makes everything roll on the outside. Just that 4 out and the 4 on the outside have really come today, played their roles in a different way than they did against Western Kentucky, where they just shot the lights out. They've done it in other ways today.
Courtney Dunbar, senior, looking on from the bench. And the free throw made by Pivic to give the Beavers a 10-point lead. Russell scores.
Mercedes Russell has been a force today, too. We've talked an awful lot about both big girls. Mercedes Russell, 17 points, 12 rebounds.
And whether they make this miraculous comeback or not, Mercedes Russell and Jamie Nard playing in their last game at home here at Thompson-Boling Arena. You mentioned the day that Russell has had as she's battled the 17 points and 12 rebounds. Nard, 9 points and 4 rebounds. We saw Courtney Dunbar on the bench. Great careers for these 3 seniors for Tennessee. But a timeout called for Oregon State. They are going to choose to advance the ball here. As we take a look at the winner of this game will play the winner of the Baylor-Michigan game, which will be played later tonight on ESPN2. Louisville already advanced with a win over Marquette, Stanford, and Florida Gulf Coast, who got the upset win. One of those mid-majors, double-digit seeds that advanced. We had a lot of those yesterday in the first round. And we could be seeing an upset here. The number 6 seed, a lot of people thought Oregon State maybe should not have been a 6 seed. Could have been one of the top 4 seeds that hosted themselves back at Gill Coliseum in Corvallis. But they've come on the road here to Knoxville. And after being down by 10 at the end of the first quarter, made the changes to come back, gain the lead in this, and have held on to the lead here in the fourth quarter.
And they've shown they have the ability to ice this game at the free throw line. They have been really good, 16 of 19 from the foul line. They've pretty much flipped the script on Tennessee as far as free throw attempts and makes.
Gulich now 3 for 3. She picked up her second foul at the end of the first quarter. Picked up a tough foul on her third, but still has remained in the game to be the force and the difference inside. Nard goes up with the left hand. Davis in traffic. And Oregon State coming away with it. A foul on Tennessee. And Oregon State coming in here looking like they're going to beat Tennessee for the first time after losing twice in the last 4 years to the Lady Vols, including the year they went on to the Final Four. As Hayes fouls out the 6th woman of the year in the SEC with 10 points.
We talk about programs on the rise. This Oregon State team definitely looking for their 3rd Sweet 16 in a row. Already made it to the Final Four a couple of years ago. I mean, Scott Rueck has just done a tremendous job with this Oregon State program.
Nard with the miss. Russell with her basket at the rim, and a timeout called by Tennessee, trying to hang in for a miracle finish here. They just haven't been able to stop Oregon State, who made their last 6 field goals, and then their 7 of their last 8 free throws to close this one out.
Well, you always want to, you look at teams and how they close, quarters, halves, how they start, quarters and halves. And this Oregon State team didn't start the game very well, but they have certainly slammed the door on the finish to this game. They have been so good, really, from the second quarter on. They have been dominant. They have been able to get what they wanted offensively. They've been sticky and good defensively, going from man-to-man to their 2-3 zone.
And they have come in here to shock the Lady Vol fans. As we look at some of the first-round storylines, there are upsets. Virginia and Minnesota, both 10 seeds, advanced. Kelsey Mitchell continues to climb up the career points chart. And the day 2 upsets, several mid-majors, including Florida Gulf Coast in our region, advancing. Tennessee gets a steal to Russell. She scores again. And a timeout for Oregon State before it was inbounded, Laura Morris is saying, so they can advance. Boy, they had to have gotten the timeout called before it was inbounded if they want to advance to the front court, and Holly Warlick is questioning that.